Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am so glad you're here and I'm so glad you clicked on today's video. I want to see how many books I can read in 24 hours. I haven't done one of these in like a hot minute. I want to say the last video I did where we read for 24 hours was probably like a month or two ago. I feel like I'm long overdue for a 24-hour readathon. So here we are. We are going to be doing a 24-hour readathon in today's video. I am so very excited because the main goal when it comes to these types of videos for me is to tackle my monthly TBR. We're going to be tackling my May TBR in today's video, which I am super excited about because I have some incredible reads that I am just dying to get started. I feel like the last month or two though, I've been really flying through my reads. Like I feel like I'm just becoming a faster reader. I don't know if that's actually true though. That is the whole point of today's video. We're gonna put my reading skills and my reading speed to the test in today's video. Usually when I do 24-hour readathons, I read around like 4.5 books. We're gonna see if I can do 5 today. And we are going to find out today if that's true or not, or if I'm just completely going bonkers. To start off today's readathon though, I'm kind of torn between two books. I'm torn between The Final Offer by Lauren Asher and Twisted by Emily McIntyre. The Final Offer is the final book in the Dreamland Billionaire series, but it's a very like chunky book. I think it's around 600 pages and I feel like that might be too much to start this video off with. Twisted is the 4th book in the Never After novels and I think that one is around 400 pages, so maybe we'll start with Twisted. I don't know. I really want to read about Cal and Alana though and kind of wrap up the Dreamland Billionaire series. But we are going to try and tackle those two books first because those two books are on my May TBR. Once we finish those, we'll kind of look at the time, see where we're at, and pick out our next reads. What do you think of these ones? Cute. Nice. I love these ones. Cute. I love these ones. Cute. Before we hop into it though, I just want to take a moment to thank Pair Eyewear for sponsoring today's video. If you're not familiar with Pair Eyewear, they are a revolutionary brand that is changing the way the world wears glasses. You guys know I am a big glasses girly and I'm always getting questions on where I get them from, which ones are my favorites. The answer is Pair Eyewear. I love Pair Eyewear so much because all you have to do is buy a pair of their base frames and then you get to choose from their wide selection of top frames so you can switch up your style whenever you want. Like, look how cute these are. Are you kidding? I'm able to switch up my style whenever, wherever. It's so much fun. They offer high quality, affordable glasses that you can add your prescription to. You can get them as blue light glasses. The pair I have on right now is their Sato pair in the color clear. These ones are my favorites because they're like a mix of round and boxy, and I feel like those types of glasses just fit my face shape so well. I also added blue light lenses to mine just because working from home, staring at a computer screen all day long, not it for me. Blue light glasses are literally essential in my everyday life because they help prevent that strain you get in your eyes from looking at screens for too long. Once you pick out your base frames though, the real fun starts to happen because you get to pick from a wide selection of top frames that start at only $25. I decided to pick up the black for a classic look. I feel like you can't go wrong with it because it literally goes with everything. Then I have the tortoise for a cozy, I just want to stay in all day and read look, which is very often. And then I also picked up the black sun top, which I thought was so cool because my normal everyday glasses now turn into sunglasses when I'm on the go. They have so many top frames for you to choose from though, including special collections such as Van Gogh, Harry Potter, Peanuts, sports, and more. I remember growing up, I literally had one pair of black glasses and I got them in black because I just wanted something that would match with all the outfits I wore. But now with Pair Eyewear, you can literally pair your glasses with your outfits. You can get prescription glasses from Pair Eyewear for only $60 and then you can switch up your style anytime by getting toppers starting at $25. If you guys are interested in getting your own cutie little pair of glasses and your own cutie little pair of top frames to switch up your style, you can use my link down below to get 15% off your first order. So the first book we're going to start with is Twisted by Emily McIntyre. This is book 4 in the Never After novels, and it is an Aladdin reimagining, which I am super excited about. Aladdin was one of my favorite Disney movies growing up. It's going to be very interesting to see this dark reimagining take on it. If you're not familiar with the Never After novels and Emily McIntyre, she basically makes dark fairy tale reimaginings that mainly revolve around the villains in like classic classic fairy tales. The first book is called Hook, and it revolves around Hook from Peter Pan, so it's a Peter Pan dark reimagining. I absolutely love that book. Like, it was so good. The second book in the series was Scarred. That was a Lion King reimagining. Absolutely love that too, because it took place in like a royal type of setting. It revolved around kings and queens and princes, and it was just, that one was incredible. And then book 3, I think it's called Wretched, and that was a Wizard of Oz reimagining. That was not it. I read that one last month, and it literally, I feel like it kind of scarred me. I didn't want to give up though. I didn't want to lose hope in the Never After novels because I love the idea of fairy tale reimaginings. I think it's so fun and it's so cool. We are going to be reading Twisted for our first book in today's vlog. Like I said, it's an Aladdin reimagining. So the main character in this story is Julian, and he is based off of Jafar from Aladdin, who is like the main villain. He is just, no one likes Jafar, you know? No one likes the villains in Disney movies, so it's gonna be very interesting to see him be the main character in the story. And then Yasmin in the story is basically Jasmine from Aladdin, and I believe her father is like in the diamond business, so they're like billionaires, I think. Julian works for her dad. Her dad is getting older, he's very sick, and Julian wants to make sure that he's left most of the business because he does most of the work. Essentially, what Julian tries to do is trick Yasmin into a forced marriage to ensure that he inherits the diamond company, and it just seems like a whole crazy whirlwind of a story. Enemies to lovers and fake dating tropes, which I absolutely love. You guys know those are like some of my favorite tropes when it comes to romance. We are gonna hop right into it, and fingers crossed that it's better than Wretched and it kind of matches up with the first 2 books I read.
Something about you supernatural. I get goosebumps every time you call. Got me running through my fantasies. 40 West, I'm doing 93. Tell me where the sparks come from. Don't know, that we both bring some. Doing something that I can't explain. Lately, no, I'm not the same. You're just like magic. Not sure what it is, but baby, you have it. Life's better ever since you have it. You're just like magic. Voodoo, baby, move however you want to. Make the night last till the sunshine through.
Why am I crying already?
I'm just trying to figure out. I'm just trying to figure out. It's magic. Superstitious with a blind of faith. When we disappear and levitate. Now I know where the sparks come from. One touch, I was so far gone. Still something that I can't explain. Lately, no, I'm not the same. You're just like.
Okay guys, we are an hour into the readathon. I'm on page 107, chapter 12. We're on Julian chapter. It is a dual point of view, which I really love. I love when we get the perspective of both characters in the story because it just makes it more fun and you just get a better understanding of the story and the characters. That also usually means there's going to be like a miscommunication trope somewhere in there, and that definitely drives me crazy. The beginning of it definitely was like kind of cringe. It definitely caught me off guard the way it started. I loved the opening quotes to the book. The first one was, "For the people pleasers, sometimes it's okay to be a little selfish." I love that so much because I'm a people pleaser and I'm a perfectionist. It gets the best of me, I guess you could say. And then the next one is a little quote that says, "It is amazing what a woman in love will do," from Anonymous, the Arabian Nights. I just thought that was really cool too. We're definitely seeing the enemies to lovers between Julian and Yasmin. They can't stand each other. Like, Julian thinks Yasmin is a spoiled brat who doesn't know anything, and Yasmin thinks that Julian is just out for the money and doesn't care about anyone but himself, and he's just a super horrible person. They don't like each other, not one bit. Yasmin is in love with a servant boy who is basically Aladdin in the story, I guess you could say. Yasmin now has to marry someone. Her father's trying to find a suitor for her because he's very sick and he doesn't want to leave Yasmin all alone in the world world, and I think it's also kind of, I don't know how to word it, like her dad's kind of sexist in a way because he doesn't think that Yasmin can handle the company on her own because she's a woman. So he wants to marry his daughter off so someone can take over the company when he's gone, which I thought was kind of like weird because the relationship Yasmin has with her dad, they're very close knit, so it's weird that her dad like just has that perception of her and women in general. But yeah, that's what's happening as of right now. Yasmin's dad is trying to find her a suitor, trying to find her a husband. Julian is coming up with his plan. He's scheming because he wants the diamond company. Yeah, that's what's happening so far. There's definitely been a few moments between Julian and Yasmin that you can like feel the tension between the two of them. But I don't know, like the way the book started was kind of, it was just kind of cringe. I hope it's not like wretched. Like I'm interested in it, so I feel like that's a good sign. We're gonna keep going and see what happens. I'm like a little bit more than halfway right now, and we've been reading for a little bit over 4 hours. I'm on page 213, chapter 25. I feel like it's kind of like going slow in my opinion. Like it's definitely like one of those slow burn enemies to lovers romances, which I absolutely love. Don't get me wrong, I love a good slow burn, but it's kind of dragging on. I don't know why. I can't tell if I'm like loving it or if I'm just like barely liking it. I don't really know how I feel yet about this, to be completely honest. I am catching on to more Aladdin hints though. The boy that Yasmin is in love with, his name is Aiden, and he's basically like one of the servants in her house, so she can't really come out with him because her dad will be really upset about it. Julian has basically pitched this whole plan to Aiden that if he goes to Egypt and finds this lamp and brings it back to Julian, he will be able to be with Yasmin and not have to worry about anything. So that's basically what has been happening the last 200 pages of this book, and then in between that we've just kind of seen like the relationship between Yasmin and Julian develop more. I feel like nothing too crazy has really happened, and although Julian is like a horrible person, we are starting to see him do like nice little things for Yasmin, so I like that part that's happening. I'm excited to see like what happens like in this last chunk of the book, because I feel like this is going to be like the crazy part of it. I know there's going to be some crazy plot twist to it all. I just can't put my finger on what it's going to be. Okay guys, we have just wrapped up Twisted by Emily McIntyre book 1 in our little readathon. Something that I thought was really interesting was it had an epilogue, which I actually really like. I like when there's epilogues at the end, but then there was an extended epilogue that kind of like surprised me. The extended epilogue was just kind of nice to have because it just filled in like all the little missing puzzle pieces. We finished Twisted, the first book in our readathon. It took us a total of 5 hours and 47 minutes. I can't tell if like that's good or if that's just average. I was very nervous in the beginning of this story because it just started off really weird and certain parts of it kind of caught me off guard. I was like, I don't like it. I don't know what it is about this book and Wretched, but the writing style just seems very different from the first 2 books in the series, which I absolutely love. But I have to say, once I got to the halfway mark and it kind of started to take off a little bit more, I did really enjoy it. I thought the plot twist in it was It wasn't like the first thing that I thought was gonna happen, but I did definitely think about it. Like I kind of saw it coming. I like the way it ended. I like how everything kind of turned out, especially within the epilogue and the extended epilogue. I really liked how things kind of played out in there. My final rating of it would probably be like a 3.5. I don't think it's a 3 because I didn't necessarily dislike it, but it's not a 4 yet for me because it's not a story that I'm really obsessed with. It was just a fun, easygoing read, and I liked the little twist on Aladdin. I liked the reimagining and having like Jafar be the main character. I think the thing that kind of just brought the rating down for me, I just didn't like certain parts of this book. Certain parts were really like cringy and kind of gross to me, so that's like kind of what's keeping it on the lower side. But take what I say with like a grain of salt, because these are literally advertised as dark reimagining, so they're supposed to be super dark, twisted romances. Usually with that comes like the super twisted stuff and the super twisted like smutty stuff. So this was so good though. I enjoyed it. I do recommend the Never After novels because they're just really fun fairy tale reimaginings. I really enjoyed book 1 and book 2 because I just thought the storylines were like crazier and more captivating, whereas with this one it was just kind of like coasting, and then we hit like a big twist at the end. It was good. I enjoyed it. I think it was a great way to start off the reading vlog, and it's a book that we are now checking off my May TBR. So we are almost 6 hours into the reading vlog. We have one book done, and I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick out our next book tomorrow morning, just because it is getting pretty late, and the whole point of this is to see like how fast I can read, and I don't want to like start a book now when I'm kind of slowing down and getting tired. So we are gonna pick out the next book tomorrow morning. I'm super excited. I want to start Final Offer, but I might have to wait because that one's such a big book. It's literally like 600 pages, and I feel like that's a lot. Like that's a lot to like throw into this, especially having it be our second book. Maybe I'll try and squeeze it in at the end. I don't know. We're gonna figure it out. But I will see you guys in the morning.
Take a look into the mirror, following your heart, but to silence to the fear. And you deserve it. You deserve it. Rainy season's gonna go. Now your seeds can grow. Imagine that. You deserve it.
Pick up the phone, little darling, I got a bit to say. I'm speaking from the heart, I pray it doesn't ricochet. I know you got his up, distance makes this hard enough. I hope that I can ask for you to listen, man, this part is tough. I sent a message and maybe you didn't get it yet. When you have a second, you should check it, swear you won't regret it. I'm stepping out of a meeting, a big amount's where it's leading. I'll make you proud in proceedings, we'll hit the town in the evening, darling.
Okay guys, it's the next day. I started a new book, and I actually decided to pick up the one by Kara Cass. This is book 3 in the selection series, and it's like a 6-book series, but the first 3 books in the series revolve around America Singer, and then I think the last 3 books in the series revolve around her daughter. So this is kind of like the last book in its storyline, and I'm really excited to see how it kind of wraps up between America, Maxon, and Aspen. If you're not familiar with the selection series, it takes place in a dystopian world, and the best way I can really describe it is like The Bachelor meets dystopian world. 35 girls are sent to the castle to compete for the heart of the prince. America Singer is who the story revolves around, and she's one of 35 girls that is sent to the castle. It's also a love triangle because America is in love with a boy back at home. His name's Aspen, but he's like below her class, so they can't actually be together. So there's like a love triangle between her, Maxon, and Aspen. There's also like a subplot to it all because there's a rebellion trying to take over the castle and take over the kingdom, so that's really interesting. I'm happy because we're kind of getting more insight into that in this book. In book 1 we were just like briefly introduced to it, and now like in book 3 we're really getting like into the core of that plot. So I'm very excited to see like how this kind of wraps up. I am definitely team Maxon just because he's like a total sweetheart and I feel like he deserves the world. So I'm like rooting for Maxon, but I don't know what's gonna happen. We've been reading for 1 hour though. We're on chapter 14. It's really taking off. Like right in the beginning we've already kind of like jumped into the storyline, and like I said, we're kind of getting more insight into the rebellion side and like all the crazy stuff that's happening at the kingdom. I feel like the last 2 books mainly revolved around the selection and the girls competing for Maxon, but I feel like in this one we're gonna see more action in it, which I really like. But we are gonna keep on going and see what happens. I'm doing my little halfway check-in. We're on page 180, chapter 20. I am loving America's character in this book. You can just tell that America really stands out from the other girls who are there at the castle competing for Maxon because she just seems really genuine and she cares about the people of the kingdom and she wants change because she doesn't think it's fair the way like everyone is living in poverty. In chapter 19, we kind of see her like take a stand against the king and like other people in the kingdom, and it was kind of epic. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty badass what she did. I absolutely love that chapter. I tabbed it so I can go back when I want to reread it. It's definitely one of my favorite chapters I've read so far. I feel like we're getting to the point in the story though where we're about to hit some crazy conflict or something, so I'm getting really excited. So we just finished up the selection. I saw the twist or the conflict that was going to happen in this book. Like, I knew it was going to happen eventually, but what I didn't see coming was like, I wish I could tell you, like I can't tell you what happens in this because I don't want to spoil it. Certain things happen to certain characters that really threw me off and honestly kind of shattered my heart. Honestly, this might be my favorite book in the series so far. I'm going to rate it 4 stars. I don't think these books could ever be 5 stars for me. They are a little bit on the younger side when it comes to reading. I really enjoyed the whole storyline. I enjoyed America's storyline. Even though she annoyed the heck out of me in book 2, I really liked her character in this one because we see her just stand up for herself and stand up for the other cast. I love Maxon. I even kind of loved Aspen in this, which I didn't necessarily see coming because in book 1 I really didn't care for him. There was an epilogue in this book too and it got me. It really got me. That extra little ending we got. I don't know, this was really cute. This was a good wrap up of America's story. I'm very curious about the next 3 books in the series. Also, for time, it took me only 4 hours and 19 minutes to complete this book. I'm really vibing with this whole dystopian theme we've got going on, so I think I have a good idea of what our next read is gonna be. Do you guys have any guesses on what our next book is gonna be? I'll give you a few seconds. So the next book I chose for our reading vlog is Restore Me by Tara Mafi. This is book 4 in the Shatter Me series. I'm so ready for this. Ignite Me is probably my favorite book in the series as of right now, just because so much happens in it and Aaron Warner, literally, he gets his time to shine. She came back a few years after Ignite Me and decided to add on to the series. I'm really excited because I hear incredible things about the last few books in the series. We get to see like a better insight into Kenji's character. We get to see a better insight into Warner's character and like all this crazy stuff is supposed to happen. And I'm so excited because Ignite Me definitely wrapped up in a super like nice lovey-dovey type of way and I loved it. I love the way that book ended, but knowing that there's more to the story, I'm so curious. It says the past will not forget me. If you guys aren't familiar with the Shatter Me series, it's very similar to the Selection series in a way that it's super fast, easygoing read. It takes place in a dystopian world. The book revolves around Juliet, but her touch is like fatal, so she can't touch like anyone or causes them harm and can kill them. First few books in the series kind of revolve around her trying to figure out her powers and how to control them. She meets all these people along the way. Basically, the reestablishment, which is like this higher power, they're trying to rebuild the world, but they're doing it in a way that's actually destroying the world and not helping anyone that's in poverty. The first 3 books in the series kind of revolve around Juliet trying to figure all of that out and also kind of take down the reestablishment. There's also a love triangle in the series. It's a crazy adventure, the first 3 books. I absolutely love them though. Like just what happens next after Ignite Me, because I feel like the way it wrapped up, like it was too easy to end it like that, and I'm happy she came back and came out with more books. We're in our Shatter Me era and we're gonna hop right into it.
What's it cost? What's the price to replace this heart of mine? I fixed it once, broke it twice. I can't fix it again. Why? I always try, but nothing seems to work. It's do or die, and I just make it worse. I drew a line and you crossed it. I had a shot, but you blocked it.
I'm on page 145 and we are on a Warner point of view chapter, which is super cool. I love that this is like a dual point of view. I think dual point of views when it comes to books just make storylines so much better. You get like a better understanding of it because you're seeing it from two characters' point of view. We are actually flying through this book pretty fast, I feel like. I honestly love the Shadow Me series because of that. They're such easy and fast-paced reads and they're super easy to understand and keep up with. So far, this story is like not what I thought it was going to be. Actually, I don't even know what I really thought was going to happen. So far, it's really interesting though, and I think it's kind of filling in all the puzzle pieces from like the first 3 books, and it's kind of answering questions that we are left with at the end of Ignite Me. So I like the idea of that. I like that we're seeing like an insight into everyone's lives after Ignite Me. I don't know, I feel like it makes the entire story and series that much better. Yeah, a lot of crazy stuff is happening, not like too crazy, but we are being introduced to new characters, which I didn't see coming, but that's gonna be interesting. I don't know how I feel just yet because we're about to meet like some of the new characters in this chapter. But yeah, it's going. It's cool. I'm liking it. Okay guys, I just wanted to do a little halfway, well actually I'm like more than halfway, but I wanted to check in with you guys really quick because I don't remember the last time I talked to you about this book, and I'm actually about to head out to the gym, so I figured I would just do a little check-in with you guys. Like I said, we are literally like we only have this little chunk left. I am flying through this. A lot of crazy stuff is happening. I'm kind of iffy on like these new characters that we've been introduced to. I like them, but I don't, and I don't like know if like I can necessarily trust them yet because like where they come from is like questionable. They kind of come from like the side that's not good. It's so hard to like talk about this book because it's already the 4th book in the series. Like I can't say too much because I'll literally spoil the entire story for you guys. Flying through it, I only have this little bit left. I don't like know what's gonna happen. Every few chapters I'm just more and more surprised because it's literally like I can't predict this. Like it's just all completely new to me, but so far I'm loving it. I love like this entire series. Every book I've read in this series so far has literally been 5 stars.
One eternity later.
You turned away with a hint of a smile, as if I could read your mind. I wanted to say words I thought for a while, but I couldn't conjure mine.
I feel like I have to just take a minute because I feel like I have a lot to process. Okay guys, long time no chat. I feel like my head's gonna explode. Like I literally feel like my head is about to explode because I'm still trying to process what I just read. I feel like I have literally been reading for the longest time. We wrapped up Restore Me. It took me a total of 5 hours and 36 minutes to finish. Immediately after that one, I jumped into the novella. I could not wait. I had to see what happened. So I jumped into Shadow Me immediately after. That took me 45 minutes. Wow, I like don't even know what to say right now because these 2 stories, I just want to scream. Like I literally just want to scream, and I want to like just scream spoilers at you guys just to get it out. Like I just want to get it out of my system, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to spoil it for you. 5 stars to Restore Me, 4 stars to Shadow Me, which is like a really crazy good rating for a novella, I feel like, because novellas are super short, especially Shadow Me. It literally was only 8 chapters and it was only a total of 73 pages, and I'm rating it 4 stars because it was absolutely incredible. Going from Ignite Me to Restore Me, I'm just like totally baffled right now with the events that took place in this book. Everything you learn in Ignite Me and think you know is like thrown out the window in this book. It's absolutely insane. I was honestly shook 99% of the time while I was reading this. Every chapter something new and crazy happened. What the heck were the first 3 books in the series? Because this is crazy right now. I don't even know what to say to you guys because I'm like still trying to process it. This was so crazy, but like so like crazy in a good way. I really love this, guys. I'm so happy she came back and decided to add on to the series after Ignite Me. I feel like it's making the series better and I'm like falling more in love with it. I feel like having these books added onto it is making the storyline so much more powerful but also more exciting. Like we're getting so much action and more adventure in this one and I just loved it so much. I can't even like get over the way this ended. Like everything I thought I knew about this series and everything I thought I knew about Juliet is like literally thrown out the window in this book. So I immediately jumped into Shadow Me right after just because I couldn't help myself. I had to see what happened. It took me 45 minutes to read this and this was so cool because these novellas are told from Kenji's point of view. I feel like Kenji's character is starting to get the hype and time he deserves in these stories. It was so cool seeing the story from his point of view. Because we're getting Kenji's point of view, we're seeing his insecurities, we're seeing his doubts, the things he's nervous about. He just seems more real in that sense. Low-key, Kenji's character is becoming my favorite. I'm so excited to see like where the story goes and I'm hoping there's more Kenji in it because I'm loving this so much. I also really love Nazira. Is that how you pronounce her name? I think it's Nazira. I love her character also. I'm kind of iffy on her. I don't know if we should trust her or not, but I do really like her character and I love her and Kenji's like dynamic and relationship and they're pretty funny. We get to see Kenji kind of like shine in a new light around her. I think with that being said though, it's only fitting that I immediately jump in to Defy Me, which is book 5. I can't help myself. I have to see what happens. Okay, I have to stop doing that. I have to stop peeking because I'm literally going to spoil it for myself. We're gonna jump into book 5, which is Defy Me. I have to see what happens because literally Restore Me left off on the craziest cliffhanger I think out of this entire series. We're doing okay on time total so far. We've read for 15 hours and 47 minutes, which is pretty good. Okay guys, hi, how's it going? Long time no chat. We have made such a big indent like over the course of yesterday and today, as you can probably tell. Started and finished Defy Me yesterday and then I jumped in and read Reveal Me this morning. I feel like I'm gonna throw up after reading these books. I mean that in like the best way possible because I was not expecting these, like the craziness that happened in these 2 books. We'll start with Defy Me. This is book 5 in the Shadow Me series. It is picking up immediately after Restore Me and the novella Shadow Me. Once you hit Ignite Me and finish it, you kind of have like a good understanding of Juliet, Warner, Adam, all the characters. You just know what everything is, and then you jump in to the next half of the book series. Everything you know literally goes out the window. Literally, let's forget everything about every character we know because I feel like everything changes in these books. Restore Me, we saw some crazy things happen, more so like towards the end. Like I think the ending of Restore Me shocked me the most. And then Defy Me was basically the same exact feeling, but times 10. The craziness continues in Defy Me. Like, I can't even, I wish I could explain to you more like what happens in this, but all I can really say is that the Shatter Me series is not what we think it is, especially like if you've only read book 1. It's crazy. You are in for the adventure of your life because these books literally twist, turn in every direction. You basically never know what's true and what's not because so much is constantly changing. I feel like this was incredible. This was 5 stars. I loved it. Again, I think I said this about Restore Me. I don't know if it's like an unpopular opinion, but I'm loving these books that come after Ignite Me. I think it's making the storyline look so much better and more interesting. Again, the first 3 books in the series are amazing. They're gems. I love them with all my heart. And now reading these, I'm like, oh, I'm like content with where the story is going. In this one, we actually jump between 3 people's point of views. It was so crazy, like going between 3 characters in this, but I loved it. I just like can't wait for you guys to read this one. Also, Define Me took 5 hours and 9 minutes to finish. After Define Me, we jumped back in Define Me and we read the Reveal Me novella. This is from Kenji's point of view, and immediately it picks up after Define Me. Kenji is honestly becoming my favorite character in this series. I literally adore his character so much. I almost want like a spin-off series that revolves around only Kenji. I rated this one 4 stars. Both of these novellas were absolutely incredible. Like 4 stars for a novella is really high for me because novellas are really short and there's not a lot to them, so I don't usually rate them that high. Kenji deserves it. Kenji's point of view is absolutely incredible. This took me 52 minutes to finish, which was like kind of like a long time for me to get through this, but I think I was just really soaking it in. These are absolutely incredible. I'm also just really scared to see how it ends because like what's going to happen? This is such a great storyline. I love this so much. I wish we could see these turned into film, but unfortunately I just feel like we don't live in like the time period of dystopian worlds anymore. After reading those, kind of soaking it in and processing everything I just read, because those books were honestly just as crazy as Restore Me, I decided to jump in to The Final Offer by Lauren Asher. This is book 3 in the Dreamland Billionaire series, and it is also the last book in the series. I read book 1 and book 2 over the course of like the last month or so, and I absolutely love them, and so many people were saying that book 3 is like the best book in the series and Cal is like the best Kane brother. I've been going hard all day with this book because it's so good. Like honestly, I love this book so much. The first 2 books in the series is The Fine Print and Terms and Conditions, and both of those books were 4 stars for me. I feel it in my heart, in my soul, that this is going to be a 5-star, and it's definitely my favorite book in the series. Cal and Alana's story so far has just been so sweet and beautiful. This is absolutely incredible, and honestly, when I was first going into it, I was a little nervous because the size, it's kind of intimidating because it's on the bigger side. I've been flying through this though. I haven't put it down since I started it. The story has been so sweet. If you're not familiar with the Dreamland Billionaire series or Lauren Asher, I highly recommend. It's really got me right now. Like, I am obsessed with it. Basically, it revolves around 3 brothers, Cal, Rowan, and Declan. Their grandfather basically created Dreamland, which is essentially Disney in these books. When their grandfather passes away, he obviously leaves a lot of money to the kids, but in his will, he has like stipulations and requirements in order for them to inherit their part from the will. In book 1, Rowan basically has to come up with a new renovation plan for Dreamland, and then in book 2, Declan has to get married and have a kid. Cal's task from his grandfather was to go back to Lake Wisteria where the boys grew up and basically try to sell their old lake house. When Cal gets there, he finds that Alana, his old best friend, his old lover, is living in the house, and her name is also on the deed, so he has to basically convince her to sell the house as well. And if he doesn't sell the house, his brothers are completely out. They don't get anything from their grandfather's will. All 3 of them have to complete the task in order for them to get their inheritance. We're definitely well over the 24-hour mark. When I finished these 2 books, we were at like the 21-hour and 15 minutes mark, but I'm still going to finish this up. It's a few days later. I haven't talked to you guys in a hot minute, but we did finish The Final Offer by Lauren Asher and made a really big dent in it the first day, which I think is the last time I talked to you about it. And then I wound up putting it down for like a few days, and I finally just finished it. We wrapped it up, and I'm actually like so sad that this series is over because I love the Kane brothers, I love Dreamland, I love these girls with all my heart, and I'm so sad that we are like leaving that world. I did recently see that Lauren Asher is coming out with a new series that revolves around a new set of billionaires. They actually take place in Lake Wisteria, which we go to in this book. I think we're not leaving this universe completely, and it makes me wonder if we're going to see the Kane brothers in this new series of hers. That's one thing I really like about Lauren Asher's books. So far, she has created all these storylines in the same universe because these books are still in the same universe as the Dirty Air series, which revolve around like F1 drivers, and they're briefly mentioned throughout this series as well, which I thought was really cool. So I hope that we see the Kane brothers pop up a little bit in the new series she's coming out with, and I think in this book we actually meet the main character of her next book. So I'm excited to see like what it's all about. Anyways, we finished Final Offer. This was absolutely incredible. I was totally right when I talked to you guys last time. It is absolutely a 5-star read for me. It is my favorite book in the Dreamland Billionaire series. It's hard to say like who is my favorite Kane brother. As of right now, I really love Cal. He's just so sweet and genuine, and watching his character development throughout this entire story was probably like the best character development throughout the entire series. So I love Cal. He's definitely my favorite. Him and Alana's story is so sweet and beautiful, and I'm just so happy with like how everything played out. I love this book so much, and I have so many quotes and highlighting I have to go back and do in this because I wound up switching over to reading it on my Kindle. If you didn't know, Lauren Asher books are available on Kindle Unlimited, so if you want to start her books or get into them and you don't have them but you have a Kindle, I highly recommend going to Kindle Unlimited and checking them out. So I wound up switching over and actually finishing it up on my Kindle, and I did so much highlighting and note-taking on here that I have to transfer to my actual copy. But yeah, it was incredible. It was 5 stars. I could not recommend this series enough. I could not recommend Lauren Asher enough. Her characters, her storylines, and her writing style, it's just some of my favorites ever. As for our whole timing of this vlog, we are like 7 hours past 24 hours, so it took me like the remainder of 4 hours and like I think 15 minutes to like get a dent into this book, and then it took me like another 6 hours to finish it. So yeah, we are like a good 6-7 hours past. That's okay. I had to finish Final Offer. Like I couldn't just start it in this and then leave you guys hanging and not talk to you about it. That's why I took some time to just finish it, enjoy it. It was amazing. 5 stars. Highly recommend. But I'm gonna try and keep this outro sweet and simple. I did do some editing of this vlog over the last few days, and we're already at like almost 40 minutes, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know if you guys prefer longer reading vlogs or if you prefer shorter ones. Let me know down below if you guys prefer longer or shorter videos for me. But we have reached the end of today's video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. We read some incredible books in today's video. We tackled a ton on my May TBR that I am super happy about. This was a super fun little video to do. Test my reading skills, test my reading speed, see how fast I could read. So the time has come to actually talk logistics. How many books did I read in 24 hours? So realistically, I read 4 books, half of a 600-page book, and 2 novellas in the full 24 hours. For the sake of my mind and the sake of this video, and just to kind of like hype myself up, because going into this I was a little nervous about it, I read a total of 7 books. We read 7 books, 7 storylines in today's video. That is definitely the most I've ever read in a 24-hour period, so very proud of myself, very proud of us. Although really I read 4 full books, 2 novellas, and half of this super chunky book. I think realistically if I were reading all 300-page books, I could probably read 5, maybe 6 books total in a 24-hour period. But because we were reading all types of different sizes of books and stuff like that, we were kind of scattered and all over the place. Either way, trying to read as many books as possible in 24 hours has left me incredibly exhausted, and I am definitely definitely ready for a week-long nap. So, but nonetheless, I am super happy about how today's reading vlog went. Like I said, we had a ton of 4 and 5-star reads. We also knocked off a ton of books off my May TBR. I'd have to say a Final Offer and making a dent in the Shatter Me series was probably my favorite part, especially with Shatter Me. Like, those books were so good. I could not recommend them enough. If you take anything away from this video, read the Shatter Me series because they are so fun. They're super fast-paced, easygoing reads. They're easy to keep up with. They're not super hard or difficult to understand storylines. They're so much fun and they keep you on your toes the whole time. For today's video, comment down below how many books you can read in 24 hours, or if you haven't tried out that challenge yet, how many books do you think you can read in 24 hours? We know it's a stretch when I say I can read 7, so there's no judgment from over here. But I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in my next video.